Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are fit and fine at your home. Dear students, first of all, I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel. Students, in the last video, we have studied one of the important lessons of Environmental Studies Standard 5. That is lesson number 12, Food for All. In the last video, we have studied what is agriculture and the two seasons of agriculture, the two main seasons of agriculture, that is Kharif season and Rabi season. Okay students, with this we have studied traditional agriculture. Okay students, in traditional agriculture we have seen that how the farmers used to water with the help of a moat or a huge leather bag with the help of oxen. As well as we have studied improved seeds and we have studied the modern methods of irrigation, that are drip irrigation and sprinkle irrigation. And at the end we have studied about the fertilizers, that are chemical fertilizers and natural fertilizers. Okay students, have understood? Very good. Now students, today we are going to study the rest part of this lesson, that is food for all. So, without wasting time, let's get started. Students, today we will begin with protection of crops. Let me read first and then I will explain it to you. Diseases and pest attacks can damage crops in the fields. As a remedy, insecticides and pesticides are sprayed on crops, or certain chemicals are rubbed on the seeds before sowing. Okay student, so here I told you that after harvesting, after getting the grains, okay, it is very important to store it safely so that we can use as per our need. So it is very important to protect the crop also. See students, after getting grains we need to store, but before getting stores, when the crops grow up, then we need to take care of the crops. Why do we need to take care of the crops? Because most of the diseases and pest attacks can damage our crops in the field. And students, what do we mean by pest? Pests are the insects that can damage the crop. Okay students? Yes, so here we can have or we can find the pest attacks on the crops, and because of that the crops can be damaged. And so what we can do? What is the solution for it then? Yes, student, there is a solution. There is a remedy for it. Yes, we can spread insecticides or pesticides on the crop, or certain chemicals are rubbed on the seeds before sowing it. Yes, student, most of the farmers do use this method of spraying insecticide and pesticides. Students, what is insecticides and what is pesticides? Yes, pesticides are those chemicals which kills the insects. Okay students, and these insecticides and pesticides are available in the market. Yes student, let's move forward now. Storage of grain now. Yes, just now I have told you after getting the food or after getting the grains we need to store it. Okay, then let's learn the methods of storing the grain. Storing the harvested crop safely is as important as increasing the production. What steps are taken for this purpose? Yes student, it is very important. Storing the grains is very important as it is increasing. Okay, the quantity of grains also increasing, we know, but what is important more than that is protection or storing it is very important. So which methods can we use to store or protect the grain? See student, the grain is dried well in the sun and filled in sacks. The sacks are then stocked in the house or after selling in a warehouse or shops. Yes student, this is the traditional way that we dry the grain in the sun and filled in the sack. Yes, sacks are used to filled in the grain, and after selling it or before selling it, it is stored at our house, and after selling it, it is stored in the warehouse. Okay students, a stored grain can get damaged into two ways, but students, after storing it, there is a possibility that the grain can be damaged, and there are two ways of damaging the grain or stored grain. One is mice, rat and insects can spoil the grain to a great extent. Yes student, most of the time we see, or these are the reasons, because of mice, rat, insects, the food grains get damaged. Okay students, so this is one reason. Also, if the grain is stored in a closed and damp space, it catches fungus and becomes unfit for eating. Yes student, this is the second reason. If we store the grain in a closed or damp space, it catches fungus and becomes unfit for eating. What do you mean by damp student? Damp means moisture. If we store the grain at the place where it has moisture, then it can easily get unfit for eating. Okay students, yes. And what do you mean by fungus student? Fungus are the kinds of microorganisms, and because of these microorganisms, the food grains can be get damaged. Okay student, have understood? Very good. Let's move forward. Yes student, let's study further. To prevent such damage by pests, chemicals are sprayed at the place of storage or all around it. Neem leaves are mixed in the grains. Some protective chemicals that can be mixed with the grain are also available in the market. Their smell repels insects. Storage places are always kept dry and airy to prevent fungus formation. Yes student, to protect or to prevent such kind of damage by pests, okay, the chemicals are sprayed at the place of storage and all around the place. Okay student, as well as neem leaves are used for preventing the damage. The neem leaves are mixed in the grains, as well as some protective chemicals can be mixed with the grain. Chemical pastes are available in the market in enough quantity. Okay student, the smell repels insects. The smell of neem, the smell of chemicals repels the insects. Yes student, what do you mean by repels? Repels means forcing back. Okay student, so the chemicals or the neem leaves force the insects to go back. Okay student, and in this way we can protect the grain. Storage places are always kept dry and airy to prevent fungus formation. So student, it is very important. If we do not want that there should not be any fungus or the grain should not catch the fungus, then the place should be dry and it should be airy. Okay students, have you understood? Very good. Let's move forward. Students, here in the picture you can see the neem leaves. Okay student, with this information let's move forward. Students, here one question is asked: what is the advantage of storing grain in wattle and dome baskets? Yes student, can you tell me? Yes, let me tell you. See, what is the advantage? The advantage of storing grain in wattle and dome basket is such kind of baskets that are made up of wattle and dome has the small holes at its top, and because of that air can pass through it inside, and because of it the place can be airy and the food grain will not damage. Okay, so this is the advantage of storing grain in wattle and dome baskets. Okay, now let's move forward. See student, food storage and conservation of environment. Let's read first. Like humans, other living things also store food. Each of them has a different way of doing it. Insects like ants store food. Bees collect nectar from flowers and store it in a honeycomb in the form of honey. Squirrels store seeds. Because these animals store food, it is available to them when they need it. Okay, students. So here, as we humans store the grains or food crops, okay, student, in the same way, other animals or other living things also store their food for their future, okay, or future need, we can say. Each of them has a different way of doing it, and the methods of storing food of each and every living thing is different one. For example, insects like ant store food. Yes, student, we know that. Yes, you can answer in the comment section, where does the ant store its food? Bees collect nectar from flowers and store it in a honeycomb. Yes, student, we know about bee. Bee collect the nectar from flower and it saves in the honeycomb. Okay, and afterward we use it as a honey. Okay, in the form of honey, we can say. Squirrels also save the food in the form of seeds, because these animals store food, then they can use whenever they require. Okay, so it is very important to store food. Let's move forward. See student, in the picture you can see a honeybee is storing its food or nectar in the honeycomb, as well as we can see here a squirrel with its seeds. Okay, student. Now let's move forward. Let's read first. All the time, plants are busy producing the food they need. Even so, there are some plants that store food. Yes, student, we know that plants also are busy in producing food. They need the help of sun rays. The leaves of the plant produce its food in the leaves. Okay, student. So always the plants are busy in producing food. As well as there are some plants that store food. Yes, most of the plants also store their food in stem, we know. Okay, you are familiar with the bulbs of plant such as onions and garlic, and tubers such as potato, ginger. Okay, student, have understood? Very good. So here we see that those particular plants save their food in such kind of bulbs. Okay, we can say they are all the parts of a stem of a plant. Yes, student, we know that all these are the parts of the stem. Radish, sweet potato, beetroots are the root of their plants. These plants store food in their stem or root. Yes, student, we know that some of the plants store their food in the roots, or we can say in stems. Okay, student, have understood? Very good. We too store food in our homes according to our needs. Yes, student, we know that monthly we store our food or the required grain at our home as per our need. Okay, student, let's move forward. In India, due to the improved methods of cultivation, we now produce plenty of food grains. The production exceeds the demand. The surplus food grain is stored in huge warehouses, student, because of the improved methods of cultivation. Now we could able to produce a plenty of food grains. India can produce a plenty of food grains, and now sometimes the food grains becomes exceeds, the production becomes exceed and exceeds the demand, and because of that, whatever the surplus food grains is there, that need to be stored, and it is stored in the big or huge warehouses. Okay, student, what do you mean by warehouse? The place where we can store a thing. Okay, students. Yes. Next, sometimes production is affected by disaster such as floods, droughts, cyclones and hailstorm. At such times, the stored surplus grain can be used for people. It can also be used for people displaced due to disasters like an earthquake. Yes, student, we can use the surplus stored grain. Yes, if there is any calamity, if there is flood, if there is drought, if there is a cyclone or hailstorm, or we can say natural disaster, that time we can use such kind of stored surplus grain for the peoples. Okay, students, have understood? Very good. Now next, students, here one activity is given that you need to visit a fair price. You need to visit a fair price shop and find out some information about the grains and distribution system. Okay, students, if I make a video on that, I will definitely publish the video. Okay, student, let's move forward. Students, now we are going to study the Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution, student? Today our country is self-reliant as far as production of food grains is concerned. Yes, student, nowadays our country is completely self-independent or self-reliant as far as production of food grain is concerned. It means there is no need to bring food grains from outside the country now, because we are cultivating, we are producing enough quantity of food grains now. So our country is self-reliant in the production of food grains, we can say. See student, we are also able to export the surplus grain. Yes student, we know that sometimes we export the surplus grain to other countries too. The tremendous increase in food grain production in our country was achieved during the Green Revolution. When did we have achieved this one? During the time of Green Revolution we have achieved, or we have seen that there is a tremendous increase in food grain production in our country during the Green Revolution. It was brought about by the joint efforts of scientists and people working for the spread of science and farmers. Yes student, the reason behind Green Revolution is the efforts of the scientists, peoples, and the people who are spreading the knowledge of science among the farmers. Okay student, and the credit of such research that lead to improvement in seeds of wheat and rice that resulted in the Green Revolution in India goes to Dr. EVS Swaminathan. See student, here we can see the picture of Dr. EVS Swaminathan, and because of him the Green Revolution was possible. Okay student, have understood? Very good. Let's move forward. Dear students, now let's learn about food security. Food is a basic need. Many countries have made laws to ensure that every person gets sufficient food according to their need. These laws are known as food security laws. In 2013, our country too enacted a food security law. It has made it possible to fight ills like malnutrition, starvation, and death due to hunger. Yes student, it is very important to secure the food. Okay, why? Because food is the basic need and each and everybody should get a food. The need of food should be fulfilled, and it is very important to make it secure, and for that purpose many countries have made laws to ensure the security of the food, as well as every person should get sufficient food and sufficient quantity. Okay, and this is called as a food security law. Okay, yes student, in 2013 our country also enacted the food security law to ensure that each person in the country should get sufficient food. Okay, and we can fight back the ills like malnutrition, starvation, and death due to hunger. Yes student, such kind of problems we do find in India, and if you want to fight back against such kind of ills or problems, then we need to secure the food, and it is possible if we make a food security law. Okay student, have understood? Very good. Now let's move forward. See student, agricultural assistant program, what is it? Through this program farmers are given proper information and guidance about the latest technology, irrigation facilities, improved seeds, use of fertilization or use of fertilizers and pesticide, etc. They can also get weather forecast and other agricultural related information from these assistance centers. Yes student, some of the assistance centers are established in India to give information to the farmers, to give information about agricultural technologies to the farmer, to give proper guidance to the farmer, so that we can improve our crops as well as grains, or as well as we can say production in farming. Okay student, production in food we can say. Okay student, and for that purpose whatever the necessary needs are there, that can be provided here with the help of assistance centers. So what kind of information is provided here? The latest technology, irrigation facilities, improved seed, use of fertilizers and the pesticides. Okay student, so such kind of information is provided with the help of this agricultural assistant program. Okay, students, have understood? Very good. In addition, agricultural schools have also been started for farmers. See here, the schools for farmers are also established, and here the members of the farmers can take education or learn about new technology at these schools. Okay, student, as well as agricultural produce marketing committees hold exhibitions too for farmers. Yes, student, it is also very important. Here some of the schools are opened and the members of the farmer can take education or learn about the new technologies in the farming or agriculture, we can say. As well as the marketing committees or the agricultural produce marketing communities hold exhibition too for the farmers. Okay, students, have understood? Very good. Now let's move forward. The agricultural department of the government, agriculture universities, television, newspapers and various periodicals work for the spread of the modern method of agriculture. So here we need to spread the knowledge of modern methods of agriculture. Now, just now we have studied the green revolution was possible because of the scientists, farmers and the peoples who are working for the spreading of science. Okay, in the same way here also we need to spread the knowledge of agriculture to the farmers, and for that purpose, for spreading the knowledge, the government, agriculture universities, television, newspapers, various periodicals spread such kind of knowledge or the modern methods of agriculture. Okay, students, have understood? Very good. Now it is possible for all farmers to use these methods or modern methods to increase production. We know that such kind of modern methods can be used to increase the production. Okay, the whole country benefits from such kind of efforts. Okay, here now we are going to study about organic farming. Okay, so let's have information about organic farming. Organic farming, farming that relies on natural or organic materials, is called organic farming. It is a form of traditional agriculture. In this method, the nutritive substances in the soil are retained. The organic pesticides used in this method have no harmful effects on those who eat the produce. The grain grown by this method is nutritious and also good to the taste. That is why farmers have begun to opt for organic farming methods. Organic farming involves use of manure obtained from plants and animals. These manures consist of fish and bone meal, animal excreta, as well as decomposed remains of plants and animals. Yes, students. Now I hope that you have understood what is organic farming. Okay, students. So here today what we have studied, students: protection of crops, storage of grains, food storage and conservation of environment. As well as we have studied about the green revolution. At the last we have studied the information about food security law and agricultural assistant program. Okay, student, and at the last we have taken the information about the organic farming. Okay, student, have you understood? Very good. Students, if you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment section. Okay, student, if you have liked this video and found it useful to you, then like it, share it to your friends, comment below the video, subscribe and press the bell icon so that you will get current notification of new videos. Thank you, students. Thank you for connecting with me. Be connected, be studious and be thoughtful.